This is Nicole Henderson from Well Appalachia and See Infinitely TV, radio, blog, whatever you want to call it. I have Sabrina Miller here today, and we're going to be talking about all things holistic. So get ready. Her website, let's tell you what her website is so that you can look her up. It's massageinthemountains.com. And there's a lot of great info. We're going to be talking about those things as we move forward. Sabrina, happy
hmm
holidays, Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy to be alive.
Yes, for sure.
I'd like for the audience to get to know you. Number one, do you do blogs? Do you have a radio show or a video show? What are you doing to let the world know where you are besides like digging your hands into everybody?
Right. Yeah. As you know, I'm a massage therapist. I've been doing that for over 11 years. And the past year, I've had more of an interest in health coaching, just going through my own health journey and trying to get well and heal. So, with the background of nursing, that kind of spurred that as well. Um, so, I do a little bit of blogging on different health topics, and you can find that on our website, Massage in the Mountains. And I'm working on starting a podcast. It's going to be called Embrace Life and Thrive with Sabrina. And so I'm just kind of setting up the different episodes and figuring out what I'm going to share with each episode. And hopefully going to launch that by the first of the year. And I do Instagram, so I post stuff on Instagram as well. You can find me on Instagram. My handle is nurse.mrs.miller. No, actually, it's nurse, the line across the bottom, whatever you call that, the
Underscore?
dash, the underscore, Mrs.Miller. That's my handle for right now. But yeah, just sharing, health tips and ways to improve my life and other people's lives to have healthier and happier lives.
I'm going to put here in the chat bar. Can you see the chat bar with it open or
Um,
no? It's okay. I want to add and we'll work that out, but let me plug it in. So you said your Instagram
uh-huh.
is, and I'm going to type it in here. What is it?
Nurse underscore
Okay.
Mrs. Dot Miller.
Okay. So nurse
Yeah,
underscore Mrs. Dot Miller. Your
that's right.
website again is Massage in the Mountains, right?
Yes, dot
Dot
com.
com.
hmm
Okay. Oop, dot com. Let's see if we can edit that thing. Edit. There we go. I missed the M. Okay. Now I got it. All right. So that lets people know where to find you, how to find you. Now, are you comfortable with talking about that you mentioned your health issues? Are you comfortable with talking about that? Like what led you or inspired you into this field? Because I think if people can empathize with you, they could look at that and go, yeah, that's happening to me right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
sure. So I've at 17 I was diagnosed with PCOS and kind of struggled with that for years.
What is that?
Um, Polycystic ovarian syndrome
Okay.
is a hormone imbalance that causes irregular cycles or no cycles at all. But for me, I bled every day for 7 years. Actually, it was 10 years. Um, and so doctors, their answers, I went to multiple doctors to find answers, and they always said, just go on birth control. And that's just, a band-aid. They didn't want to figure out the root cause of things. So I lived with that. I just kind of pushed it aside. I had other goals to focus on. But when I was almost done with nursing school, I was under a lot of stress and I decided, I'm tired of this. So I got on birth control just to get a break, to have more regularity in my cycle. But I knew it wasn't the right thing. So a little less than 2 years into it, I decided to stop it because it was making me nauseous all the time, headaches, fatigue. I could barely eat, so I lost a lot of weight. Very anxious, depressed, suicidal, just crazy. So I decided to just get off of it. Little did I know that when I would get off of it, the rebounding effect of the hormones that were suppressed and everything, that I gained over 50 pounds in less than 6 months. I just
Well,
put on all this weight. And so then I was dealing with more body image issues with just that added weight, and people saying, wow, you've gotten fat, and not wanting to be in pictures, not wanting to go out in public, just kind of wanted to isolate myself because I was just so embarrassed. It wasn't my fault, it was this coming off this medicine that doctors said I should take. So with recently getting married at the time, we wanted to start a family, and that wasn't feasible with no cycle, and my hormones crazy. And so I started doing research on things that I could do because the medical field wasn't helping me. And as a nurse, I knew a lot, but still, I saw that I needed to do more holistic. I didn't want to go the medication route. And so I did research about, lifestyle, and I had lived a healthy lifestyle all my life. My mom was really good about that. But to understand what was going on in my body personally, to understand what I need to do to help me. And so my lab showed that I was insulin resistant, pre-diabetic. My glucose was high. So I did work with nutritionists for a little while, but most of it I did my own research. And it wasn't until February of this year that it kind of clicked. And I was like, okay, insulin resistance, pre-diabetic, what do I need to do? And so I went high protein, low carb, and medium fat diet. And the weight just started shredding off.
wow.
So in less than a year, I lost over 40 pounds. And I got my energy back, and so many things that it was life changing. And so it kind of propelled me to want to become a health coach, to be able to offer those services at our massage clinic and to the community, to help other people who are struggling with insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, and maybe even having diabetes, and they want to control that. Having weight loss resistance, that have body image issues, that they're embarrassed, or just a lot of the same struggles that I've had, that I want to help people, that there's hope, and there's things that you can do to help yourself become better.
Yeah, so
That's
that
kind
high
of
protein diet, some people out there listening or watching the show, um, is a high protein diet. I'll say two things. The question is a high protein diet for everyone? And then the other side of it is, I know, just as being a holistic health practitioner and medical intuitive, when I'm checking out somebody's body and their kidneys, and let's say they come to me and they talk about insulin issues, pre-diabetes, or diabetic, the first thing what I do is scan their body and check their kidneys to see, what kind of foods their body's telling me they're eating, and whether there's a load on the kidneys. Can the kidneys handle a high
mm-hmm.
protein diet? So, I mean, you've got a heck of a background. I mean, you don't even look like you're 24 years old. So,
Well,
absolutely
I'm almost
beautiful.
31.
How old? You're 31.
Well, I will be in February, so I'm 30.
Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
you're still a young pup to me.
Yeah.
But okay, so those two questions, or those two things. What do
Yeah,
you?
I think it's really by individual. Um, I know, for men and women, it's different just because our bodies are made differently. But I think if somebody is looking at their blood work, or they're having problems with weight loss, if they just look at their plate to see what they're eating, like, are they eating a lot of processed foods, or are they eating more vegetables and fruit and meat, good sources of protein? I think that's the key. Like, a lot of people consume a lot of processed foods, which was just harming them. So if they're
Right.
eating a lot of vegetables and fruits and nuts and whole foods that you can identify when you look at it, you can identify that this is an apple, this is a grape, this is potato, then that's where it needs to be. As far as is a high protein diet for everyone, it may not be. Um, for me personally, I try to get at least 120 grams of protein every day. Usually it's more than that because I'm eating lower carbs. So I still want to make sure I'm not in a calorie deficit, to maintain my body's functions. Um, but some people aren't dealing with insulin resistance. So their body may not need that higher protein. I think everyone needs at least 90 grams of protein a day.
Okay, so what
Um,
does that look like? If somebody was looking for 90 grams of something, what
yeah,
are they, what's the go-to gonna
good
be?
way to, yeah, a good rule of thumb is to have 30 grams of protein at each meal. And so if you look at it, like if you're having eggs for breakfast, one egg is 6 grams of protein. Um, Usually one strip of turkey bacon is like 6 grams of protein. Um, I personally have 90 grams of protein at breakfast. That looks like I do 2 scoops of protein that's made out of beef, isolate beef protein. And then I usually have
Sounds
5 to 6
yummy.
raw eggs.
Oh,
And I make a
oh my
smoothie out of it.
goodness. Wow.
I've been doing that every breakfast, basically every breakfast, unless I'm out of town, since March. And that's been my breakfast. And I felt better having, loading on calories and higher protein in the morning helps me throughout the day to maintain my blood sugars and energy.
Excellent.
Um, as far as the other question, I think you asked about kidney function. Yeah, some people don't can't handle the higher protein, especially if their
Yeah.
kidneys aren't functioning,
I'll tell you why I
properly.
asked or why I brought that up. My brother's been a diabetic since he was 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he was in his 30s or 40. He had lost his eyesight. They were able to laser an eye and give him sight back and at least one eye. And then his kidneys started to fail. So I guess in his 40s, they said the nephrologist said your kidney function is like nil. Like now we're looking at dialysis. And the before the doc decided to pursue that, he said, let's go ahead and send you to a dietitian and nutritionist. Let's see if there's something else we can do before we do that, because we don't know if we can turn back the hands of time once you start dialysis. So
Mm-hmm.
he went to the dietitian and nutritionist, and they said, all right, let's cut out all meat for 3 months. And he's always been thin anyway. So, for him, it's not about keeping his weight balanced.
Mm-hmm.
It was more about kidney function. And within that, like within a month of no meat, more so no beef, um, he was able to get full kidney function back. So, most people don't know when they have issues. It's time to start looking at the full spectrum of what healthcare practitioners are out there in the world that can help you figure out what your body can handle. And a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
don't want to. It's like they get sick or something's wrong and they go to one doctor and the one doctor tells them something and they say, well, that's my God right there. I have to listen to them because they've been through umpteen years of college and spent
Right.
hundreds of thousands of dollars for their degree. And they believe just that. So this holistic approach really is a whole body approach to medicine health. It integrates allopathic with modern day medicine and functional
Mm-hmm.
medicine. And also the integrative piece is that we have to know more about our bodies. We have to know what our bodies want, what's happening at the time. So what I love, and I've been to see you a number of times already. I bought myself a 10 package as a gift to myself for to close out this
Mm-hmm.
year. And I mean, I knew my body needed it. And often I say, nope, I'm not going to lay down on that table. There's other things to spend the money on. There's other things to do. But when you get to the point where your body says it's either this or you're going to get sick. And I
Mm-hmm.
listen to my body when it says that. Well, when I look at your wall, that is impressive to look at how many certifications and things you've got hanging
Yeah.
out there. I looked at that and went, she is not old enough to have all those certifications. Like,
Yeah.
holy crap. So I'm very impressed by your background and your story. I too have I've had my bouts with endometriosis.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't know, my father used to work for an ortho pharmaceutical company, and they knew when they went through training peddling their medications that taking birth control can cause ovarian issues, ovarian cysts, ovarian failure,
Mm,
ovarian, like a number, not to mention hormonal imbalances and whatnot.
right.
And being put, I was not early bleeder, but I bled a lot during the first stages of my period. So my father said, we're gonna nip two things in the bud. One, we don't want you getting pregnant, and two, let's get those periods handled. But he didn't say, oh, these could cause ovarian cancer, ovarian cysts.
Yeah.
So by the time I hit my 30s, I had a hemorrhaging ovarian cyst and adhesions all over inside of my abdomen, and I almost had a heart attack. My
Mm.
body was, you're losing blood, there's a bunch of things going on. So I think that people being mindful, you are here in Mountain City, Tennessee. Do you have any other offices or is it just here?
It's just here in Mount City.
Okay. And is it you and your mother work together or?
Yes. And we're getting ready to add esthetician. My mom is going to school for that, and then my sister-in-law. So she'll be joining us to do esthetician in the office as well.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Family affair.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that the blog, video, audio would be a perfect addition for those people, for an audience that's not right here in Mountain City.
Mhm.
So, do most of your clients come from the Mountain City area or from outside of the area? What do you think?
Yeah, it's surrounding areas. The majority, I would say, live in Mountain City, but we have people, some coming from Boone. Um, let's see, I think we have some that come from Blowing Rock, Butler, but mostly, within 30, 40 minutes of Mountain City.
Okay, and you keep pretty busy.
Yeah,
Okay, so good to have your
sure.
mother and have others working with you. So
Yeah,
can you handle a surge of clients? I mean, if people see this and they go, "Wow, I need to see what degree she's got hanging on her wall.
yeah,
I want to know what she can do for me."
yeah. I
Um,
mean, we definitely do our best to get people in as soon as possible. We've have interviewed a few massage therapists to bring them on. It just hasn't worked out. Either they didn't feel like it was a right fit or we didn't feel like it was a right fit. But we would like to add a third massage therapist to our team to kind of help with that, getting people in more. Because with it being me and my mom, our schedules fill up pretty quickly.
yeah,
And I do work as a nurse PRN 1 day a week in Boone giving infusions. So that takes one day, whole day that I'm not, able to give massages.
right. So infusions of what?
So our patients have arthritis, MS, Crohn's disease, lupus, just a wide range of different things. We have some we give injections for asthma, osteoporosis. It's a whole range of things. It's there at a rheumatology clinic.
Okay. So,
Mhm.
and you go where to do that, Boone?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Have you heard of vessel therapy, VSEL?
I don't think so.
Might want to look it up. I just started researching it. My husband has had Parkinson's for 28 years
Hmm.
and Crohn's on top of it. Um, and I had a holistic veterinarian that I'm going to start doing podcasts with tell me about it. And so I need to call. There's a doctor in Ohio that does these infusions with and I don't know enough about it, so forgive me for not knowing. But it's my understanding, limited understanding, that they spin down your blood. We have
Okay.
our stem cells in our body.
Uh-huh.
We're born with everything that we need, right? But many of our stem cells will remain dormant in
Hmm.
hibernation until we need them. Well, often they won't wake up unless they are hit with light. Okay.
Oh.
So apparently they spin the blood down and then hit the blood with lasers, which initiates the waking up of those stem cells. And as we're learning, scientists are learning that those stem cells can, they would know exactly what organs are in need of attention, and they will go
Hmm.
to those organs and stimulate healing and regrowth. So
Mm.
we've been talking about it for my husband for Parkinson's, and as I learn more about it, I'll share it with you too. But I would think MS, any other condition that's associated with brain and spinal
Hmm.
would benefit. But I mean, really, considering all organs need those stem cells. Um, so I was looking at your website, and you've got a number of things going on. Let me just pull it up so that I can address it. Of course, it does not want to comply. So your welcome page takes you to learn more about massage therapy, and there are a number of different techniques, massage techniques. Which one have I been having? Is it just the deep tissue or
It's a combination of deep tissue and neuromuscular therapy. So trigger point therapy, myofascial release, and deep
okay.
tissue.
All right. So tell me about the Swedish massage.
So the Swedish massage is geared towards, or the intent is relaxation. So it's a slower, lighter pressure massage that helps calm the nervous system. It does help relax muscles. A lot of clients fall asleep when they get a relaxation massage. So it's more the focus is to relax the mind and the body.
Yeah. All right. And then you've got the hot stone. What is that called? That is the muscle meltdown.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's when we use hot stones and metacupping to help. It
Okay.
really helps relax the muscles because you have the metacupping, which is pulling apart the layers of the muscles. It relaxes and brings hydration and new blood flow for healing. And then the heat from the stones just helps melt the muscles, relax them.
Okay. So is that the meta cupping something that you have to be prepared for the client, or is that like they come in and you say, okay, what would you like today? And
Yeah, metacupping is one of those things that's a quick add-on too.
okay. All right. And then lymphatic. Now I know, and that's something that I need to work on myself more, is things that I can take or do to help with lymphatic drainage, get rid of all the yuck that's kind of hanging out in my body. So tell
Mhm.
me a little bit, and most people don't understand. I do, but I'd like to for you to tell them what's the difference between those other massages and this lymphatic drainage massage, and what's the benefit?
Yes. Yeah, so the lymphatic drainage is a very light pressure. Um, so people like deep pressure, they tend to not like the lymphatic,
Yeah, they don't
but
feel
it's
like they're getting anything, right?
yeah, that they might feel like they're not. But it's very light pressure. It's very rhythmic motion, and we always with any massage we always go towards the heart. But especially with lymphatic, I'm going towards the lymph where the lymph nodes are the most. So right here in the clavicle area, the neck, the armpits, the groin, and behind the knees, and then the abdomen here, where most of the lymph nodes are. And so I'm doing the light pressure to move that lymph that's under the skin to the lymph nodes to be able to get rid of toxins. And I also do pumping to kind of light pumping to kind of help waken up those lymph nodes to start, moving that stagnation out. So this helps with edema, swelling, inflammation. If somebody's having recurring infections, it kind of helps flush out the system. It helps the liver be able to flush out and clean out the blood and the kidneys too. Those both are, you know, wonderful organs for that.
Right, yeah. Okay, and then your infrared, you've got an infrared sauna. I don't know that I saw that.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
so we have light therapy in there. We have a bulb that can change the lights. You have different exposures, red light, green light, yellow. Um, can't remember all of them, but yeah, it's an infrared sauna that we have there as an add-on, or somebody can do just solely that for 20 or is it 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay. Now, I've used the infrared sauna. I myself am not a fan, and anyway, I'd love to talk to you more about that just to see what even shorter sessions, if there's a benefit. But so age related, if we look at ideal solutions for those that are, let's say, over 65 and not in the greatest of health, is it better for them to do a 15-20 minute, or is it better for them to start with less time and work their way up?
Yeah, it really depends on what their health status is. If they're prone to overheat quickly, we don't want them to be in there as long. You really kind of need to have at least 15 minutes, 20 minutes to start really that heat to really absorb to get the benefits from it. But if somebody is prone to getting lightheaded real easy, or has a heart condition, that could be a we want to reevaluate if it's good for them to even step into the sauna.
Right. Which leads me to the initial visit when you show up to fill out the paperwork. Anytime I go to see a new doctor, I have to sit there and spend a lot of time writing this stuff out. And that I'm not a big fan of. I mean, my last visit to a chiropractor in Pennsylvania was, I don't think you need to know this. And then two visits into it, I was like, and now I know. Now here I am, 57 years old. I'm going, all right, I get it. Like, I know
Mm-hmm.
they need to know so that they know what's going on. And especially when you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about these things, and most people don't realize if they, like, I've got clients who call me from other parts of the world who say, I started this particular therapy and I crashed and burned, so I'll never do it again. And it's like, no, you were trying to detox too fast. Like
Right.
you're trying to push too much in. You're either taking too much or, it's in excess of something. So you go through something called the Herxheimer's response, where the body goes, no, I'm not liking that. And you need to just stop everything you're doing.
Right.
And most people don't know. They just think, oh, well, I got sick because of the therapy. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not true. So
Mm-hmm.
knowing, working with a professional that understands these things, don't try to shortcut. If you're going to go to Sabrina or any other holistic or even allopathic practitioners, write the stuff down. And if
Mm-hmm.
the doctor walks into, or a therapist walks into the room and goes, okay, what are we here to see you for? It's like, well, didn't you take 5 or so minutes to look at my paperwork? I think that's what turns
Exactly.
me off. It's like, if
Right.
I'm going to spend that amount of time filling out that paper, I want to know that somebody looked at my paperwork before they stepped in the room with me, because then it just
Yes.
ticks me off that I have to say it after I wrote it.
Right. Yeah. It does kind of help. Like I know for us at our office, we look at the intake form, and a lot of people just fill it out because they have to. They don't go really into detail. So they may put something on there, and we're like, I don't know what that exactly means. And so we like to clarify. Um, and then to hear it from the client with their words why they're here to see us is helpful too. But yeah.
Yeah. So let's look a little bit further. You've got, let me see, there's a lot of stuff here. The assisted stretching. Now, phew, I know a lot of us can benefit even just by that. I'm a big fan of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
However, I know just the stretching, and so I think I had asked you during one of my sessions if you were familiar with, what was that guy's name? Well, anyway, I'll have to look it up again, but the stretching is very important. So you do 30-minute sessions,
Mm-hmm.
and then you said your mother she's taking her classes for the facelift, for the aesthetic
Yeah, aesthetic.
esthetician.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we've got the Facelift Express, Facelift Deluxe. I need that. My jowls, as we age,
Yeah.
gravity is like sucking this stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that there's plenty more that I can come from. Oh
Yeah.
my God, barefoot massage. You actually climb on people's backs.
My mom does. Yes, Paula. She does that. Ashiatsu. Yep.
That is amazing. My father loved that. When I was a kid, he always made
Oh,
me do that to him. Um, Boy, that seems like a really good way to get a spinal adjustment too. I may
yeah.
have to set
Without
up with
that
your
being
mom.
in the intention, yeah.
All right. And then, so wait a minute, let me look at this. So it says, due to compressive nature of the technique, extra precautions need to be made for certain client conditions. And that
Hmm.
would be pregnancy or trying to conceive, high blood pressure, recent injuries, surgeries, contagious skin disorders, compromised immune systems, acute liver, or kidney disorders. Really? What extra precautions would you take for acute liver or kidney disorders?
I think that just mainly has to do with like the amount of pressure. So it's probably um by individual to the person to the each client's needs. Um, I think if they have a lot of issues with those organs, probably the added pressure to
Mm,
those organs is probably not helpful.
yeah,
Is probably
especially
what it is.
like fatty liver or something like that. I could see where
Yeah.
that kind of compression might be an
Mm-hmm.
issue. Surgical implants, I definitely understand that. Have to be
Mm-hmm.
careful. Advanced diabetes. My brother wears a pump, so I
Yeah.
can
Be
imagine
careful with
he'd
that.
not be that would not be best. TMJ,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. I could see having those jaw massage, mandibular massages. You do sugar scrubs, full back exfoliation. I know they feel good. Had that
Mm-hmm.
before. Salt glow, is that's similar to the sugar?
Yeah, it's just we use the salt instead of the sugar as the scrub.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the difference between the two benefit wise?
It's basically the same. I know for us, we like the sugar better because it can melt with the heat, so it's easier to take off. But
Yeah.
it's pretty much the same. They're doing the same, exfoliation and
Okay. And then you have clay wraps. Now I know clay is good. I do use Pascalite clay and I drink it. So, and I tend to sleep better at night when I
okay.
do make a concoction of that. But I can, yeah, definitely see detoxification. Our skin, most people don't know, our liver and our skin are the two largest organs, detoxifying organs in the body.
Hmm.
So, you know what I love about your website and about you and your mom and what you're doing is that this is holism. You have so many different things that you offer. This would be, if you don't know what to buy somebody as a Christmas or birthday or other celebratory gift, like your place is a one-stop shop and they could say, you choose how much money they want to spend on a gift and you go, okay, these are the therapies that would fit under that and you write them a little note
Hmm.
to say, these are the therapies you might want to consider that would go with this gift, monetary gift for yourself, and then they could choose based upon, but I think part of it is because they're coming to you. If it's not something as simple as just a back scrub or sugar or salt scrub or clay detoxifying, um, that they fill out the paperwork so that you
Hmm.
know what kind of health issues you're dealing with. Do you often mail out the paperwork before they come in for their sessions? So if they want to
Yes.
get set up,
Yeah. If we have their email, we usually ask for their email if they have an email. And then they'll receive the intake form via email that they can fill out prior to their appointment. So that saves time too when they come in.
right? Okay, and then you've got a number of others. So you got a foot exfoliation as well as seaweed, paraffin wax. That's always nice, especially for the hands. What a treat. Ear
Hmm.
candling. I used to do ear candling, had a health store back in 94, and
Oh, wow.
I was swamped with my ear candling. So if you ever get to the point where you need an ear candler
Okay.
and you're backed up, you just let me know. I'm a pro. All right, CBD oil for joints. That's great. So you sell that or those they can be added on with the massage?
It
Is
can be
that
added on to massage. Yeah.
okay? Aromatherapy, chair massage. All right. And then you've got, which is something that here it is. So now your Embrace Life integrative nutrition health coach.
Mhm.
And you've got a bunch of info. Again, people, if you're watching, massageinthemountains.com is the website. And there is a ton of information on here. Like, these women are a wealth of information and skills. Embrace life integrative nutritional health coaching. And you've got, so let's talk about your women's group because I saw your signs. Tell me a little more about them so that we can, how big, so your groups, we talked about the size of your groups. So right
Mhm.
now you're really just, you've started
Yeah.
and you're growing.
Mhm.
Again, these could be really nice gifts for your friends for the holidays. So tell me about your women's groups.
Yeah. So this coming Friday, December 6th is the second group. So the first group we had 5 people show up. Went really well. So my plan is to have a group meeting once a month, the first Friday of every month at 5 p.m. to 6:30. So it's about 90-minute slot. And kind of how it you know organized, geared up to be is that we have welcome. Everyone introduces themselves, maybe shares a little bit what brought them to the group. And then we have a meal. I make a meal. This last time we had chili and buckwheat cornbread. Um, and so then I share the recipe. I usually make the recipe up, and so I share the recipe so they can go home and make it themselves. I've had a few report back that they've made the chili themselves at home and enjoyed it. So that feels good.
That's nice.
And yeah, and then I kind of do like a little Bible study that kind of goes hand in hand with the health tip that I'm going to share after. So this previous one was about how we're fearfully and wonderfully made, and how we can see ourselves that even if we're dealing with health issues, that we're still fearfully and wonderfully made, and that we're still special and worth it. And then I go into my health talk. The women that join, I usually ask them when they fill out the form for the first time when they're interested, they kind of share what brought them to the group, what made them interested, if they have any health concerns that they're trying to work through. And so then that helps me to gear the health talks to answer those questions or concerns. Um, so this next one, I'm going to be talking about clearing out the detox pathways. Lymphatic drainage is one of the things, and then other things that they can do at home to help maintain their detoxification to their body. So that's kind of what it is. It's just creating a meeting or a community of women that they can share with each other and learn new things and try new things.
Yeah, and empower them to embrace techniques that they can do in their own time. So it's
Yeah,
not just
sure.
about, I think that's the key is empowering humanity to embrace some new ideas. I mean, now that Robert Kennedy is going to be handling health and wellness and trying to make some changes with our food supplies and whatnot, there's a
Mhm.
lot of interesting things I think we're going to see happening. So people knowing how to find you, where to find you, how to get connected with these groups. You've got more. You've got a 6 month program.
Mhm.
What are the demographics for the 6 month? You've got, let me see, you've got a 6 month and then you've got a 8 week group program. So these are your 6 month is a one-on-one coaching
Mhm.
for people who like privacy,
Yeah.
right? They want to do all their deep work in private with you. All right. And then your 8 week is group.
Mhm.
And do you have male and female? Is this
I would say mature. I'm gearing towards women.
okay?
Yeah.
What if men, I mean, men tend to ignore their health. My husband is,
Yeah.
you know, it's wait until you crash and burn and then you go, it's too late. I'm not going to do anything about it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but I think it might not be a bad idea to figure out something. We might need to brainstorm on that one to open the door to invite men into seeing what's possible
Uh-huh.
with helping them with health and wellness if they just took 20 or 30 minutes out of a week to look at the
Hmm.
different things that they can do. So you've got your sauna. Now, is that the infrared or this the
Yeah,
chromotherapy?
so I did some add-ons that somebody could add to the program, like the 6 month um, or the 8 week program, that they could just like add it on as a discounted price if they want to add like a package on to those um, health programs.
Okay. And then your labs. So tell
Hmm.
me about the labs. I have well, actually, we'll talk about that next, the hair tissue mineral analysis. But yeah, tell me about the labs and what clients tend to come in and ask for you to order those.
Yeah, so I can't give medical advice because I'm not a doctor, but I can educate. As a nurse, I can educate, and so kind of with that is if the client has already had labs done at their from somewhere else, they can bring them and we can sit down and look at them together. And I will educate to them on what each value is looking at and what it may be saying about what's going on in their body. And then it's up to them to take that information and do what they want to do with that. Um, if they have questions, we can go over questions or things that they could ask their provider to maybe look into deeper what's going on. I do have an account with Ultra Labs where patients can order labs at a discounted price. They do have to go do Quest Diagnostics to get those drawn. It's not covered by insurance, so it would have to be pay out of pocket. Um, but that's just another option if patients aren't under the care of a provider and they still want to check their labs and kind of see what's going on, just kind of like from a holistic point of view.
Yeah, and that's where I am. I mean, I don't like to wait until I get sick to go looking for assistance. As long as and usually once or twice per year, I'll walk into Dr. Kim Klein's office and say, "Hey, I want to order my labs. I want to know what my body's doing."
Mm-hmm.
Um, but most people, even but like you get those, to know that you could actually sit down and go through those labs with them is ideal. I mean, I tend to know, and I'm a big researcher, but I also know that when I'm looking at labs, and let's say the one of the labs comes back, one of the things, like let's say cholesterol, the triglycerides, triglycerides seem okay, but your HDL is good, your LDL is too high. Now, I tend to know that that is seen throughout our family, but that there are things that I can do that I can adjust those levels on my own from home.
Mm-hmm.
Other people will go, "Oh my God, that's too high." Like I've had doctors go, "Oh, that's way too high." And I'm like just points above on the LDL. I'm like, "You have got to be kidding me. Don't panic pedal here." So
Uh-huh.
not every human body is made the same. You can't look at a numerical value on something and go across the board, that's the norm for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's like body temperature. They
Yeah.
set body temperature at 98.6 back during the world wars. But that doesn't mean that our bodies are that temperature. Like mine usually runs
Mm-hmm.
97 point something all the time. So anyway, I think that people knowing that you have the ability to go through labs with them, and I often go to like LabCorp and just walk in and pay out of pocket and say, let's just draw blood. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
what my body's doing. And then I have
Mm-hmm.
doctor friends that I can call to go through those labs with me. So your hair tissue mineral analysis. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I am hopefully going to be able to offer that soon. I have to get that set up, but that is where we look at you cut like just a little bit at the root of your hair, and send it off to this lab, and they evaluate it to look at your minerals, just kind of like for the past 3 months. So you can't have any, your hair can't be dyed; it has to be virgin hair. And so they look at your minerals, if you have heavy metals, because your hair stores a lot from like how you're eating. It can show you where you're deficient. It can show you like if you're having a lot of heavy metals in your body and if you need to do a detox. So it really shows a lot, especially if somebody is stuck and they're doing all these things and help their body with healing, and it's just nothing's moving, like nothing's changing. It's helpful to maybe just see where your minerals at, where your deficiencies are in the vitamins, and the ratios between the two. Like if you have the ratios off between the two vitamins, then that can cause a problem. So it kind of just helps looks at that and get to a deeper what's going on with the body.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we're talking about this. I have a friend, naturopath in North Carolina, and I sent her probably over 6 months ago, sent her hair and nails. Well, stupid me, I didn't ask which part of the hair shaft I was supposed to be getting. So I sent her, like, I cut from the end, and that my hair, from the dyes from the past, my hair usually grows pretty slow.
Mm-hmm.
And I cut from the end, and she's like, "Oh my God, your analysis is coming back like you have 6 or 8 different organs or body structures you're making cancer cells." And she's like, "Maybe you ought to go get checked." And I said, "No, like, for me, I don't get panicked over that C word, because
Right.
every human body, every plant body, every animal body, we have a propensity to experience unprogrammed cell death. So when
Right.
somebody goes into that hyperspasm of you've got cancer, or you are at high risk for cancer,
Mm-hmm.
people get so scared they start doing crazy stuff. Well, then let's cut off body parts, or let's go for chemo and radiation, or let's do it. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, how about we go to well, let's take the holistic approach. Let's try to figure out exactly what's happening in the body and
Mm-hmm.
examine the body, give it certain therapies, use therapies to give it what it needs, and then retest again and see what the
Mm-hmm.
body comes back with. So
Mm-hmm.
now I know if I'm going to do the hair analysis again,
Yeah.
to cut from down here.
Yeah.
And I may send it to her, and she'll say, "Oh no, you're healed."
There you go.
I can only imagine what that'll turn out to be like. All right, so
Yeah.
childbirth education, and I love this program. How many this is coming soon. So is it
Uh-huh.
because you've had people ask for it, or
Well, I guess it's been about 10 years ago, I became a doula and childbirth educator. And I was a baby nurse. So for a short time where I went into homes after the baby was born and stayed anywhere from a week to 3 weeks.
wow.
Did 24-hour care to help the mom transition into having a new baby, did cooking, light cleaning, help them, learn how to change a diaper, feed the baby, did all that. And so with that background, and over the years, people mentioning about um, the lack of education around childbirth and, preconception, all that stuff. With that background, I thought it would be helpful for this area. Um, so I haven't put a program together yet, but that's in the works that I hope to be able to offer. And it might be just like 1 day workshop where it just go through some things about conception and through the different trimesters and then the different stages of delivery and all that stuff to just educate people about all that process.
Yeah, what I've seen, and I think that's why I really like the idea of this program, is that when people get pregnant, or we are even considering it, they don't think about what that fetus is going to experience through them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that life inside of them can see, hear, smell, taste, and feel everything that they see, hear, smell,
Mm-hmm.
taste, and feel. So when they're out of balance, let's say there's that physical part, that puts a physical load on the baby. If they are mentally and emotionally out of balance, that child is taking in, these are children, babies learn from experience. We all do.
Mm-hmm.
So the baby learns early on in the fetus, or early on within the body, whether it is going to be in danger in this life, whether there's going to be a high level of vulnerability, or what its parent thinks about how they feel about risks and vulnerabilities in life.
Right.
So I think that having a program where you're it's not just about the physical, it's the mental and emotional backup that you're going to be providing for them. So I love the idea of that program. And I'd be interested in partnering with you somehow for that if you get to that and want to.
Hmm.
I'm a huge advocate for being able to communicate with those cells and with the babies
Yeah.
inwardly. Um, so disease prevention, weight loss, goal setting. Again, audience, this is Sabrina Miller with Mountain Massage in the Mountains. And it's so much
Hmm.
more than just massage. They're like, what a wealth of information. So did I miss anything on the website? Because I think you are extremely thorough in what you share. You've offered the coming soons.
Uh-huh.
And uh And then a holistic community here in the mountains. We're looking at a lot of things changing, and we just came through Hurricane Helene.
Mm.
I think that it's important to know who in your community can offer resources, skills, and abilities that when you're cut off from outside, like Boone, Blowing Rock, Abingdon, even Abingdon and Damascus, they're so close
Yeah.
that we were cut off from them for a while. Johnson City is about an hour from here, or Bristol, or so these people, we have a community of about 2,500 people. Johnson County, there's 18,000 or more in within that part of the community, the outlying communities. So, and that's just, I think, just homes. Somebody else brought that into perspective for me. That's just homes.
Hmm.
So add in how many people live in those homes that don't realize that you're here. They
Mm.
don't realize what value you bring to this community. So I hope that everyone listens and watches through the video. I want to go back to something before we stop. And I don't know if you're aware of this, and there's nothing wrong with not being aware, is you were talking about your health issues and health issues that you had and bleeding quite a bit.
Hmm.
Well, I learned through many years of research and working with others that if we give blood once per year, just once per year, that we reduce our risk of stroke by 80%.
Yeah.
So I imagine through all that bleeding that you did, you didn't have to worry about having a stroke.
Well, I
But
hope so.
right. But I think that, there is having a holistic a place where you can go to talk about all of these amazing
Uh-huh.
things, and to do research and studies and really connect with other practitioners here locally. Like your place ought to be the go-to. Like you ought to be able to network and go, okay, well, we have so and so over here that does
Yeah.
it. And no, we don't do that here, but here you go. Or yes, we can do it
Hmm.
here. And if we end up overloaded, we'll call in other therapists. We might have to get you a bigger building. All right. Is there anything else that you'd like the public to know? Or is there any specials that you're running for the holidays or for the new year for 2025 that you'd like to share?
Yeah, well, each month, well, for 2 months, usually we have a monthly special, which can be found on our website. So we're still running the October and no, the November and December special, but we're getting ready to do January and February. I don't remember what the January, February one is, but I have a tab on our website where it says monthly special, and it lists there what it is, how much it is, and the discounted price for it.
Okay. And what is your phone number? So if some people don't even like the internet, they're adverse to it. So,
Yeah, so it's 423-291-8735.
okay, perfect. And again, that's massageinthemountains.com. And your Instagram is
Nurse
nurse
underscore
underscore
Mrs.
Mrs. Dot
Stockman.
Miller.
Mhm.
Mrs. Dot Miller. Okay, Sabrina, it's been a pleasure having you
Yeah, same.
on the video, and I, as soon as I get it all finished, I'll upload it and send it to you so you can share it with the public. God bless you for the
Thank
closing
you.
out of 2024 and many blessings to you for 2025. I look forward to seeing your expansion and getting people connected with the wealth of information that you offer this community.
Thank
So
you.
God bless you. Love to you and your mom and the rest of your growing team.
Thank you.
And we will see you soon.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Goodbye.